Hello and welcome to CBA TV. My name is Balogun Abdillahi. I welcome you to your show, our show, CBA TV News Review. Today we'll be talking about the security situation in the land. You know, security is very, very important. Now I will be introducing to you my guest today. I have a special person, a special feature in this land that I have in this program. I'm talking of no other person but Abdillahi Geeljire. He is a former Minister of Information as well a former Minister of Fishery. Thank you and welcome to our show, sir.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you. And my co-host is also here, Abdillahi Hassan. Thank you. So I want you to please tell our audience a little thing about the security situation in Somaliland.
The security situation in Somaliland is excellent, albeit being shaken a bit by certain statements by certain officers recently. The Somaliland peace situation is rooted deeply, and it's been guarded by the people of this nation. At some points we might argue loudly, but I assure you the security situation in the country is excellent, and it's been watched and guarded by its people.
Thank you. Recently we had a diversion of some of our soldiers from our land to Puntland State. So I don't know if you have anything to just say about that.
I attribute that to that both in Somaliland and Puntland there are two new administrations, and it's always normal when the administration is new in both countries. They start choking in different ways to have some influence. So it's normal that certain people will be moving from one side to the other. So really it doesn't concern us that much, but we have to be handling the situations that arise from those kinds of actions in a more wisely way and a better way, and in a way that doesn't hurt the security and the existence and the unity of the country.
For the past decade and a half, Somaliland has been moving slowly but steadily to controlling all and securing all its international borders. But that seems to be reversing now with the defection of the contingent of army in Badon district in eastern Senak region. Is that the case?
I don't think so. I see there was certainly a setback. We cannot hide that. There was a setback, but it can be easily reversed if the leadership takes the necessary steps and continue to the policies, to the wise policies that we have followed for so long, by keeping the people together, keeping the peace, trying to develop the areas that have fallen behind from the rest of the country. So it's a setback, certainly, yes, but it is a reversible setback.
Now, this issue of army defection that we're talking about, you know, to the people of Somaliland, it's something that is very key. Only for us to dictate that in a statement from the Chief of Army Staff, saying this is not as serious as we think, he also further to say even they are just the government is wasting money on those people that if they want to go, they should go. While he even give room for even if there is another one that still want to go, that they can still go. Do you think this statement fits in at this present time?
No, it doesn't fit at all. It was a public nightmare, public relations nightmare. It was a disaster. It was not something we are used to. This is a democratic country. Normally the military falls under the authority of the civilian authority. So we seldom hear from a general or military man speaking for the country as such. So this was a public relations disaster, but I think it's something we can get past. It's something we can forget about. It's something, it's incumbent to the president to change course, to rectify these kind of problems, and actually there was no exigent reason for the general to speak like that. So we hope we can forget about it and just call it a nightmare.
But it was not just a nightmare, it was also an insult. For instance, the commander who was infected was a war hero. Some people may call him that because he was injured like twice in defense of Somaliland. But Somaliland government, the executive branch, the president and the political leadership are still silent on that grave insults, if I may say so. So how do you, can you explain that?
I think we have spoken it, the people have spoken in many, many different ways. The whole country was shocked, and they expect from their president to do rectifying measures about this. And there's one thing, the general that we spoke is one thing, and the senior officer who defected is another thing. That senior officer was a person who fought for this country for so long, a person who sustained injuries while he was defending this country several times. At one point, even he was evacuated with a plane, special plane, to take him to outside the country for medical, for medication and treatment. So he did not deserve that his commander would say that he was there for the money.
But that also raises the question and makes a person wonder, what has compelled such a man who has sacrificed a lot and, served his country so well, and even his blood was shed in the service of his country, to desert his country and to defect to another nation?
There must be a good reason for that, and we are expecting the government to investigate, to explain to the people, because that will not only explain his case, but it will also tell the others who are still fighting for the country, who are still ready to die. It will tell them why they are there and what their situation will be. So it's very important. It's very important that the government explains that. It's very important that it corrects the situation, and it's very important that it should not happen again.
Now, still on this, the Chief of Army Staff statement. In the same statement, he also mentioned the issue of Colonel Ari. While you said Colonel Ari should be executed.
Colonel Ari is actually the channel should be saying Colonel Ari should be executed. That's not right. What he should have said is that he should be brought to justice, even if he has something against him. So that's the correct statement. Someone has to be brought into justice. Then we have to wait for the justice take this course. So that was also another word that was not, uttered by a general like that. It's obvious that he wants that guy to be executed. That's not how you solve problems. So, but he should have said he should be brought to justice. That's one thing. The other thing is it's a security situation that has faced the country. It's not the first time that one of our people takes arms or rebels against the state, and there's a precedence. We have ways that we solve all these things. So we expect the president, who has the ultimate authority, take the necessary steps to solve these kinds of problems, and should not insist in ways that cannot be useful for the country and useful for the people of this country.
What did the statement of the Army Chief, Major General Noor Ismail Tani did is that it frustrated an ongoing process to reach or broker a peace settlement between the government and the disgruntled Colonel Arre. And now some clans have spoken up against it and even considered that to be a declaration of war. How can this situation be de-escalated now?
I think there's an element of exaggeration in both ways, but what I should say is, in the Somaliland context, we always send, when there's a crisis or when there's a problem in a certain area, we send the elders, and that's how we prosper it. We use the elders to solve the problems with the government. And usually the government is the one that takes the initiative to send these elders to the problem place. But this time, it's the opposite. It's the people who are, the elders who are going by themselves, trying to solve the problems, coming back with solutions, and the government is not accepting it. So we have some kind of reverse situation, and I think that will that has to change. That has to be reconsidered. I think the president should realize that he's the president of this country, not for the people who voted for him, not for the people of his clan, not for his own interest. He is a servant of this country. So he should understand that he should not be bowing to certain pressures from certain areas or certain elements of his government or regime or administration. So what he should do is just sit back, cool down, and he's an experienced man. He has been here in Somaliland for as long as he lived. So he should be thinking about these things in a rational way, in a way that's not emotional, in a way that's not a wimpy way. He has to keep his strengths, he has to gather his strengths, he has to solve and face the situations. He is the one who said, elect me, I will solve your problems. So he shouldn't be saying now, there are people who are pressuring me to not to do this, not to do that, not to do that.
For a long time, you've been a Kulmiya party official and served in Kulmiya government. What are the practical, advice that you would give the president to really de-escalate the situation very fast?
Well, I will always, and I have asked the president for so many times, in different statements, in different places. Mr. President, we ask you to keep the unity of this country, keep the goodwill of these people who want to build their country, who for the last 29 years building block by block this country without much international help, without much international finance. People like you took a great part, and we have gratitude for that, to reconcile the people. But why would you now, when you are the president, how come you cannot unite the people? How come you cannot open your heart for the people? How come it happens, all these problems are not solved? Why they are sitting on your desk? Why everything is gathering dust on your desk until it balloons up to a crisis? Why is that? Mr. President, we ask you to solve the problems. As they come, they should go out of the door. As they come from the door, they should go out of the window. So I ask him, please, Mr. President, follow the ways. We follow it all the time, and add some more to the betterment of this country.
Thank you. In rider to the advice to the Mr. President, I would also like you to talk to Somalilanders about what they need to do now pertaining to everything that is up, because many issues caused by people will not understand the situation and they would like to talk about it. I want you to talk to them.
The way they should behave is now, I ask the Somaliland people to tone down the rhetoric, to tone down the harsh ways or the harsh words they're sending each other through the social media. The un-Somaliland way, should I say, for talking to each other. Remember, you are the people who own this country. You are the people who built this country from the ashes to where it is now. So you cannot go back to what we were 28 or 29 years ago. So please, Somalilanders, we ask, you have to respect your leaders, you have to respect your government, and everyone should take responsibility for their own words, for their own action, for their own deeds. So remember, you are brothers or brother to each other, brothers to each other and sisters, and you own this country, and keep the peace all the time.
Thank you very much, sir. I think with this word of advice, everyone should know where and what it's supposed to do at the time. I want to thank you very much for joining us on this program, and to my viewers, till next time, we'll meet again.